Hi guys, so today we're going to be talking about two of my absolute favorite things, horror movies and transgenders. So today, we're going to be talking about Sleepaway Camp. Sleepaway Camp is a movie that is often lumped in with some of the worst representations of transgender people in all of media, especially horror media. So we're talking like Silence of the Lambs, Buffalo Bill, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Leatherface, like really the list goes on. All these movies that represent trans people as not just something to gawk at or like fear, but basically other worldly creatures, like in general, which is pretty fucked. And that's like a valid interpretation. I'm sure many people who worked on this movie had some not great ideas about being transgender, and we should probably view this movie as like a pretty transphobic piece of media, but that kind of sucks, doesn't it? It kind of sucks to have the one weird over-the-top horror movie with a major trans character in it kind of stripped away from us just because it has some shitty politics. And so that's why I decided to make this video with some proud like death of the author type vibes. As YouTube's resident trans horror girl, I will be reclaiming all of Sleepaway Camp, every bit of it. So, if this movie really wanted to hurt me, to make me feel bad, I guess it kind of failed because, like, I love this movie. I don't just like it. I love this movie. This movie makes me happy in ways that I don't think are really, like, understandable to others. And I'm gonna try to let you guys share in some of that joy because it's real. It's real, guys. Okay, so first and most importantly, Angela is actually trans. She's not, like, brainwashed into being trans. Hi guys, so I'm realizing in post that I probably should have specified Angela is the lead of this movie, and there's like a big debate around if she's actually transgender or she was just like brainwashed into being transgender, so I probably should have mentioned that in the video. But on with the content. So she's clearly shown in flashbacks pointing to her sister and being all like, yeah, I'm feeling transgender in her brain. So like, come on. It's just that in this very specific situation where Angela's sister and father both die in a boating accident, leaving her in the custody of her randomly supportive ally, Queen Aunt, who also always wanted a girl, she's able to live her truth. Bada boom. So Angela is for sure a trans queen, like end of story. And this actually comments on some, interesting kind of universal trans experiences. Angela's narrative is at its core about pain in the home and finding love and support and, like actualization in an extended family member, which sounds like a pretty damn trans experience to me personally. And on top of that, we have this whole idea that Angela's expression is tied to personal pain. Like she had to endure this pain to even be able to express naturally as herself. And it's also tied to random circumstance. Angela's aunt just so happened to randomly really want a girl. What are the odds? Random circumstances and past pain are really the only things that allow me personally to present as a woman, so I get a girl. But even past Angela's personal struggles to find a place where she can be accepted and present as herself, she still has to fight for her very existence every day. Firstly, there are these obvious pressures of internalized homophobia running through Angela, ones stemming from a bigoted society that manifest within her to create serious pain. The most clear moment of this comes when she's with Paul and is clearly falling in love with him. Before she slips into two memories, one of herself and her sister laughing at her father and his male lover, and another of Angela pointing to her sister, expressing a clear desire to be like her. So connect these memories and you can start to see that Angela likes Paul, but she's aware of herself as a male to female trans woman, and therefore she feels kind of like a boy, and therefore her relationship with Paul feels kind of gay, and being gay is wrong. And then you kind of see that like all these pressures of internalized homophobia, of like cultural homophobia, are stacking up onto Angela and ruining her life. So she kind of just runs away. And secondly, Angela is directly torn down by others, specifically for her being trans, whether it's Judy commenting on her breast size or Meg getting upset that Angela won't play games with the other girls. Angela is, in a really interesting way, attacked for being trans even though no one knows she's really trans at all. And yeah, Angela bears the type of attacks that would make any stealth trans girl pretty much not want to go outside ever again. And so Angela, in true girl boss fashion, just kills her haters. If you didn't know that's the plot of the movie, now you do. Now there's a very high chance, and it's basically confirmed by me, that Ricky, Angela's cousin who has to know she's trans and is thus a supportive ally king, is helping in these murders, but that's really just like fan theory bullshit. So I'm gonna go off the actual text of the film and say Angela is doing all these killings solo, which is honestly quite impressive of her, not gonna lie. But we should probably make note that everyone Angela kills has wronged her in some type of like transphobic way. Maybe it's as direct as throwing her into a fucking lake, or maybe it's as light as just harassing her ally cousin, or just being a shit little child, which, you know, fuck them kids. But, you know, all the punishments are the same, and they are all death. And this is the sort of daily, like, anguish and pain that Angela's forced to live through, and it kind of gives us the thesis of the film. So maybe you guys didn't expect this, but I'm actually going to defend the ending of this movie. I know, big surprise. If you're at all familiar with Sleepaway Camp, you probably know it for the ending, which is a nightmare of transphobia. And it's really fucked up, and a lot of people take serious issue with it for good reason. But you know, in my sort of reassessment of the movie, in my reclaiming of it, I've decided the ending is not only okay, it is actually the greatest moment of commentary on the queer experience this movie has to offer. So everyone else tells Angela she's a freak. They play upon this conception of her as the other, as something to bully and to gawk at and torment, all because she's trans, and they don't even know she's trans. So imagine how bad it would be if they actually did. So at the end of the movie, when Angela has murdered basically half of her summer camp and stands over the body of her vacation sweetheart completely naked, glaring towards our surviving characters and growling like some sort of animal, I think it's safe to say she has become the monster others have really always seen her as. And then the movie literally like reflects this central idea by not having a trans body, but the body of a cis man with the face of a cis woman plastered onto it, you know, sort of become Angela in this final moment. It's a perversion of what being trans truly is, and that idea is perpetuated elsewhere. Just think of Judy's death. So I'm pretty sure the inclusion of Ricky here in a wig was meant to like throw people off back in the day, and now we're just seeing it because the movie has been HD remastered, but it still fits with my ideas. So now it's like a central part of the movie. But basically, Angela becomes someone else when she murders, a reflection of her very masculine cousin. The manner in which she kills Judy is very suggestive and very phallic, and I think the subtext of Angela becoming this predatory monster, this man disguised as a woman, which the world sees her already as, is made very apparent here. And really, this idea applies to like all of the kills. They get progressively like less deserving as we go. Still deserving, but less deserving. We start off with like an actual pedophile getting like hot grease poured on him, you know, like everyone can agree that's great. But the end of the movie is Angela decapitating this guy who's really his only crime is being kind of a himbo. So Angela is born into a world which shuns and silences her identity. She's made a victim of incalculable trauma and pain, which is somehow the only way she's able to present her true self. She's mercilessly bullied and made fun of, both objectified and ridiculed for not being developed enough. And at every turn, her opinions and autonomy are stripped from her, piling onto already immense anxiety and social stress. So please forgive me if I think Angela's snapping and getting some much needed revenge is not like justified. Does she kind of become the monster that everyone already saw her as? Yeah, but you know, the horror had to come from somewhere. So on the subject of Angela alone, I love this movie. It is empowering, it is wonderful, it is slay. But the queer greatness of Sleepaway Camp does not end there. No, far from it. It continues into every single second of this movie, and we are going to talk about that. I have one word for you. Boys. This is a movie with a lot of boys doing boy things and being boys and being gay and wearing gay clothes and being gay boys. Now, masculinity here in general is presented pretty clearly as rough and aggressive, very far away from Angela, you know, her brand of shy femininity. I think masculine is something we could only describe Angela as when she's killing, which kind of plays into all the trans stuff, but, you know, we already talked about that. But the side effect of that is that it makes the movie really, really homoerotic. Ronnie, the camp counselor, This guy is literally an extremely buff man in the tightest shirts and the shortest shorts the world has ever seen. There are multiple boy piles throughout this movie. There's a scene where all the guys ask the girls to go skinny dipping, and when they say no, the men proceed to run completely naked into the lake with each other. And I mean, Angela's dad is like literally like canonically gay. Like he is gay. Like it's canon. And all the gay stuff is pretty funny, but it also holds some serious commentary. I think it kind of urges us to wonder, like, if all these boys are basically gay, why are none of them actually gay? And the answer might surprise you. Just kidding. It's homophobia. Yeah, so all the boys are fueled by a pretty masculine culture which shuns being gay as very much not masculine. But the ironic part is that they all act pretty damn gay. And so this adds another layer onto Angela's whole queer crisis in the movie, making us wonder if maybe everyone is just repressing their shit too, and Angela isn't as alone as she thinks. But you know, our whole culture of silence makes her feel so isolated and alone. I guess, you know, just some food for thought. And on the side of the girls, there's not as much gay, I don't think, outside of maybe Angela's aunt, who seems pretty fruity, and maybe even, you know, Judy, Angela's like main op. I feel like wearing a shirt with your own name on it while you destroy the hopes and dreams of other girls in volleyball seems like it's probably gay in some type of way. Overall though, it doesn't really matter because this movie just has this like gay energy around it. From the line deliveries to the costumes to the casting, some might even go as far to say this movie is camp. And so yeah, Sleepaway Camp is, in my eyes, a really empowering, touching queer film. Very good and positive for us transgenders especially, but really the whole LGBTQ gang. I would encourage everyone to watch it this Halloween, or really just anytime. I'm making this in like August, so, you know, watch it whenever. It's a great movie. And yeah, I will be accepting absolutely no information to the contrary. So until next time, I have been Ellie. Goodbye, loves.